Hi, Pontus.
Hi, sir.
Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you again. How are you?
I'm fantastic today. The sun is shining in Stockholm, and I'm excited about a nice chat.
Same here. Looking forward. We have finally reached some of the milestones in our corporations, or initially milestones. So, yep, happy to be here talking with you.
Nice. I wanted to double click first on Roaring and a bit about the initial parts of your journey. But please, before we go ahead, please introduce yourself and how you associate with Roaring.
Yeah. So, yes, I'm Pontus. I head up our product and innovation team at Roaring, working obviously closely with all divisions within the company: sales, tech, and product. And yeah, that's me shortly. Been working here for 2 years. Have roughly 20 years of experience within this information space and digital and data stuff. So Roaring suits me well.
It's an exciting company in an exciting time.
It is. We started off but my colleagues and the pioneers that started the company, it started off in 2016. At that time, they were focusing on developing our integration platform, our API platform. And then they obviously understood that they need to sell the solution, the services, and then they onboarded our sales executive. And from there, I think that the journey has been a steep curve forward. And last 2 years, we've seen, at least from my opinion, some impressive numbers in terms of clients being onboarding our services, and then obviously revenue aligned with that. And now we are facing hopefully roughly around 4 or 5 million euros in revenue, and taking the next step to become a small, big company. So, and it's exciting to be in this on that journey, and also excited to be within this data information space, because obviously we can do a lot of good things, and we can support the industry that we are catering towards, the fintech, the bank, finance, insurance, those companies that are using our services, our data, basically for smoother onboarding processes, but also because that's just a very broad terminology, but basically it means that we have an integration hub API platform, which we have piled in with tons of data that we source from various trustworthy sources, authority sources, and some few third-party data sources. And on top of that, we build those APIs, and the banks and the fintech companies can then jack into that, and then they can create whatever they want with that information, with the data that they need. That could be individual data about all individuals in the Nordics, for an example, for a smoother onboarding processes, not to rely on to have to source that information themselves. But the magic happens because with the API platform, they will be able to cherry pick the data sets and the information that they need. So you can see it as our API platform as just a pile of Lego bricks. And then you, as a client, you cherry pick, I would like to have company information in Denmark and in Norway. And I also need financial information from Denmark and Norway. And I would like to have ultimate beneficial owner, board member data. And then they collect that together, and they built their solution on top of those APIs. So it has the platform creates a lot of different opportunities for different clients. So we are obviously operating within the bank segment, insurance, fintech, but basically any company that has a need for the data that we are providing, and also has a need for reduced manual workforce to automate those processes. You have a form on your webpage today, and then it might be end up with a PDF that you need to fill in. If we can help them in reducing that, so that their clients can do that automatically, reduce the onboarding time from a couple of weeks down to a couple of minutes. So that's basically the general concept of what we're doing. But data is essential, and our technology hopefully is essential for our clients. And in there is the magic mix.
Thank you. And how many people are you right now?
So roughly with consultancy, I think we are 25, 27 people today, and hopefully getting more people on board in a what's the word, in a controlled way. So our idea is not to ramp up to become 55 people within 1 year. We try to sort of invest in our firm with some cleverness. So we are gradually growing revenue-wise, and then aligning that with more people to join. But the strategy is not to sort of force ourselves to use our cash to become 55 people, because I think that we have come to sort of a crucial level where, yes, we need more people, but it's quite important that we obviously get the right people on board, and that we have the opportunity to onboard them in a good manner. Because even if we put in 4, 5 more, 6, 7 more people in sales, for an example, we don't think that it will sort of multiply our sales with the number 6. So trying to be clever in that growth as well.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And how did you get into contact with open banking?
So I think from my side, I had it on my radar. I had it as a task when I started in Roaring, and in my discussions with my CEO and the founder Johan, he said, there's something. This space is of interest for Roaring, and I think he was using the word transaction data, which is funny because in the field that we are operating, there is obviously transactional data that comes from the banks, but it can also relate to the monitoring of transactions that the bank has. They have systems, or they have providers that the bank is using for analyzing transactions, what is happening within the bank from a AML perspective. So, and I think that was actually what Johan meant in our discussion, that you need to have do some business intelligence around that area. But I think I misunderstood a little bit. So I was then referring to open banking in PSD2, and at the same time, my colleague. Former colleague Sari had a discussion. I think she already had met you at Enable Banking, and then I think that the timing was correct. And then we had a meeting, and then it became quite clear for me that what we're doing at Roaring is basically also the smoother onboarding process, but also obviously everything relates to risk. Minimize your risk, and that can be your risk of onboarding the wrong clients, and it can be risk about credit risk, it can be risk about business risk, etc. So it just merged into one single point where we met, and for me it was quite obviously that what Enable Banking is bringing to the table is definitely something that will bring value for our clients. So it was a misunderstanding in the beginning, I think, from my side, but then I understood that or Johan, we do not talk about transaction data for the banks to analyze, because there is a lot of players doing that, and it's a interesting, but it's a hard field to enter into. So based on that, transaction data for us at Roaring now is obviously utilizing the power of transaction data within a client's bank account, bank statement. So. Long explanation for something, but it was a coincidence initially, I think, but a good one.
From our side, a very good one.
Yeah.
It's really been a pleasure collaborating with you, Pontus.
Thank you.
How do your solutions integrate with Enable Banking's API?
Yeah. So when we started off the sort of the project and the development of how we should utilize Enable Banking's technology and platform, one key factor for us, and a challenge, but also a key factor for us, is that we do not, I wouldn't say promote, but it's important for us that all the things that we do is based on that we are the messenger. Roaring is the messenger of the solution, and that was one of the sort of key features before digging into the development. That's why your solution also come very handy for us, because you said, it's fine. That's, you want to be behind the scenes and utilize and empowering our business by providing the connections to the bank. So that was one of the first sort of step for us. That was a check mark on that. And when we then started off doing the development, one key obviously for success would be that, you guys had 2,700 banks now. So the number of banks and also the coverage, business accounts and individual accounts, that was key factor for us. And then when we started to develop the service, obviously it was important for us to be able to use your platform without letting our clients, I would say, understand or to have to think about the underlying technology. So we have sort of built our solution on top of your solution. We have done some, I wouldn't say advanced things, but we have done some things in the way that our clients is interacting with our API, which is then actually interacting with your API. But we have done it in a way so it for our clients that uses the API, they don't have to think about, that's enabled banking in the background. They don't have to sort of look into documentation on your page. They can do the full integration through our API platform. And the strength with that is that since we are obviously focusing on more than open banking or PSD2 data, so we have 65 other APIs. So what we have done is that we are trying to uniform in a coherent way, so clients that are in the need of transaction data through our joint open banking platform, then they can do that in the same way as they are working with our other APIs. Do not need to be transferred to enable banking as a underlying third-party partner. So, and that has been, I think that is the key sort of component for I think the success of this cooperation, that you allowed us to do that in that way, and it gives us even more possibilities to, in the future, for an example, to use this API as an integral part of other processes that our clients are using. So you have individual information. We can do the business risk with other data sets, and then in the end, our clients will then be able to, okay, everything looks fine and dandy. We'd like now to do the sanity check whether the information that you have given us about revenue, about if you're having transaction from abroad, or if you're sending money or receiving money from abroad, that would then really support them, because that is where your magic comes into hand, and it will be a very smooth process for them to just add that control or verification process. So that's basically a long answer to how we have integrated. We have built our solution on top of your sort of solution. We have created some values around it in terms of how you interact with it, how you get started, and it will give our clients the opportunity to use the strength of that service together with the APIs that we are already providing in a simple, uniform way. That's the long answer.
Thank you. A really nice one. So what is the best about collaborating with us?
I think that, superior technology is one of the so as a product guy, I do not develop, but obviously I have team members and my CTO had a look at the documentation on and how your processes look like. And to be fair, the whole landscape of open banking is, can be complicated at a glance, and it is quite complicated. But I think you've really succeeded in explaining how it works from a technical standpoint of view in your platform, in your documentation platform, and then so that is one point in that. Second, I think that a collaboration is obviously when you can, ask those stupid questions, which I've done with you several times, since I'm not an expert within the area, hopefully an expert in how to create smart APIs, etc. But that has been also very, both joyful and you allowed us to answer to ask those questions. We had also great support from, your management, including yourself. But when you said, "Okay, Pontus, that question is a little bit too advanced," but we could reach out to your CTO, and that has been very helpful. So I think that to summarize it, superior technology, very friendly, manners, and being supportive when we are trying to understand how to do this, and also well documentation. What I also like is that I can see similarities between our two companies. You're also working with an API platform. You obviously also has the focusing on being developer friendly in what you're doing, which is one of our sort of core visions and missions at Roaring. So with those components together, it was quite clear that was a good fit, and so we've been Enable Bank and is very supportive in terms of for us to be able to develop our service in a good manner. So soft values and some hard technical values that it's jointly. I mean, for me at least, that's given this collaboration the best grade. So thank you.
Oh, I'm the one to say thank you.
No.
And I have to highlight that the questions have been none but stupid.
No, thanks.
Far the opposite. It's the curious questions.
Yeah.
The wanting to understand something new kind of questions.
Yeah, exactly.
And that drive and that will and that curiosity is something that I really have been appreciating as well.
Thanks. And we are just in the sort of starting phase also, I think, because now we have created our sort of first instance of the product, but there's a lot of more opportunities. We have scraped the surface to be able to gain insights about the account and the account holder, but then there is more to come when we put on the transaction data inside the accounts, and then hopefully we are also in discussions how we could analyze the data and give even better insights to our clients. So I think that there will come more stupid questions and hopefully some insightful questions along the way.
No stupid questions, just curious questions. Yeah. With our partnership, are you able to target new customers that you haven't been able to before?
I would say that since our clients are, banks, insurance companies, fintech, I think that we have the foundation, sort of the client base. But what happens when we're talking with those clients? It opens up, obviously, new opportunities for us. They are also obviously curious on the possibilities with open banking. Mm-hmm. And before, that was just I wouldn't say a question mark for us, but classic sales, it would be it's something that we are looking into, and in the future we might have something we looking into that area. The difference now is obviously that we can have those discussions, and we know that we are, from a product perspective, we are backed, that we actually have a solution, and also that we have a solution where we have that we are connected to 2,700 banks in Europe. I use that as a mantra when I'm talking with clients and being on stage. And people do not. Some of our clients do understand the hard work behind to be able to have, almost 3,000 connections. That's a huge pile of work that needs to be done. But I think that, so answering your question, yes, it obviously opens up new opportunity for us. It might not be within other sectors. We're still focusing on our sort of core industries, but we can have a totally different discussion, and we can actually say yes to those inquiries, that we do have those connections that you need for risk mitigation or to analyze data, transaction data. And so that's a huge difference. Before it was just a product on paper, and now we actually have the product. So our sales is really focusing also on sort of fetching or understanding the requirements from the industry now. It's a new field for us. It's a new area, but I think that I think I mentioned it before, but what we're going to launch, or what we will be launching, or what we have launched, is that we are focusing on the sort of verification part of the account at the moment, and also focusing on to ensure that an individual is actually the owner of a account with the balance, and even if that's just sort of scraping the surface of what you can do with this platform and with our API, it has given us a great start, because we have initiated quite in-depth talk with clients that are really interested in specifically that sort of problem that we can solve with that. So yes, it opens up more opportunities for us with the collaboration with you. Yes.
Great to hear. Yeah. And then looking a bit into the future, 2024 is now ahead of us, and then looking into the future.
Yeah, I think that, so a general concept of looking into the future is not only focusing on open banking, but the first of all, it would be for us obviously to go in and to be able to fetch the actual transactions. That's a sort of low-hanging fruit that is on the roadmap. But I think that in general, it just becomes clear for me would be that yes, we have a lot of data, and this goes for the industry. Now it's the time, and where the technology is also there to be able to analyzing data, to be able to. I often use the saying that 1 + 1 = 3. So it basically means that
sometimes even 4.
Even 4, and we have now the opportunity with the data that we are providing through your platform. And then there is AI capabilities. It doesn't necessarily need to be AI, but I think that the future for at least Roaring is that now we are going to analyze all the data that we have, and we're going to make sure that we will find patterns in the data. We will find insights. So 1 + 1 = 3. The 3, in my opinion, is that it goes from one data set plus one data set. It just becomes insights. So we have a strong focus on that. It means that we are having some interesting technology R&D projects where we are now actually doing that heavy lifting in creating an ecosystem where we are able to analyze data in a more advanced manner, and also summarize it together with open banking. Yes, I think that next step for us would also be to start looking into the transaction data and also analyzing that, categorizing it, and be able to identify potential risk transactions, which then could be used for our clients in it could be in an onboarding process, but they can obviously say, hey, this account has money in it. It has transactions. There is a coffee being bought at Starbucks. That's not a big thing, but we can also identify 5 transactions that seems to be money sent to a company in Azerbaijan. And today, yes, you can see there has been a transaction going away, maybe to Azerbaijan, but what we're looking into is obviously to create more metadata and more insights around the transaction, so that you can take an even better sort of sound business decision whether you should work or do business with this client. So summarize it again, it would be in the future, in general, will be adding more analytic capabilities on data in general. And I don't think we are alone with that. But to have that a concept, but it needs also to be done in a. There's a lot of buzz with AI. You can do a lot of things with AI, but I think you need also to zoom in, identify some areas where the technology can really sort of enhance your service or your offering. And we are in that sort of, now we are working with, yes, we have the technology, but now we are focusing on, where should we start? Because we need to prioritize in how to get started with that, because otherwise it just will be a huge project that will, blow in your face. But we will get there eventually.
One step at a time.
Yes.
And with a 5-year view.
Yeah. 5-year plan from now, I think that from a company perspective, we hopefully, and with all our colleagues and hopefully we will be a big, small company. And with that said, revenue-wise, yes, we will have. I can see the growth rate that we have now, and also looking towards the future 1 or 2 or 3 years, we will be, wouldn't be surprised if we have tripled our revenue. But so revenue-wise, that's one part of it. But also, I think that we are really ready for, the challenge of challenging even bigger players that are in this field. I think that we have the foundation for it, technology-wise, competence-wise, and as I said before, adding more people to the company, and also with this analytic sort of mindset, and also the capability that we are building in terms of analyzing data. It will most likely give us the opportunity to leap up another 2 levels up. So hopefully within 5 years, I think we will have this conversation, but I think then it will not evolve around that we have 100 APIs and that we are working with Enable Banking as a underlying technology partner into this. Then I think it's, we are moved away from that. That would be core. No, that wouldn't be core. That would be, yes, hygiene factors. You need to have this kind of data streams into your platform. But then within 5 years, it would be the magic that we can do on top of the data to create those insights. I think that in 5 years, Roaring would be, hopefully, it would be more seen as a intelligence insight company rather than a data distributor or a smart, clever API integration platform. That we will do most likely, but we have then at that time we had put so much effort in creating those insights on all different angles.
So being the enabler to help your clients to make better decisions, to get a picture of the risk, to understand what are the risk levels, and then to minimize that risk in their business decisions.
Yes, you summarize it well. And I think that today we are taking steps towards that, but still, which is also a challenge, but sometimes we can be seen as, okay, you have data. And that's correct. But our most successful product yet is, still one of our APIs. It's not an advanced API, but it's when we have actually made some simple calculations on top of the data, and when we are pushing out those insights to the clients through an API so that their onboarding process will be, more accurate, more faster. That is the success. So you can see what happens when we're actually doing those analytic things, and that I think will just move on, and that in the end will be the only thing that we will be focusing on. But we will still have, we need the data, but we will be more of an insight driven and or delivering insights rather than just delivering data.
Super.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pontus, for a really nice chat. This has been really both interesting and insightful, and I hope for all the listeners also very, very relevant and an interesting dialogue. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me, and yeah, just reach out if you would like to know more about our cooperation or if you would like to know more about our APIs. So then we are ready.
Warm welcome.
Thank you.